motherfucker. I ate them
You
Oh
edibles
well,
just
that's
earlier.
what it
you
is,
just
man.
made me think about old boy from Do the Right Thing when they was sitting there in the pizza shop talking about Prince and Michael Jordan.
So it made me think of people, and that is a very important conversation that you
But that's
brought
really how
up.
white people look at it.
Yes, yes. To be specific, yes, you brought up something very important. Oh yeah, you did because he didn't know how to describe Magic Johnson. You know, who is your
It's,
favorite?
yeah, all their favorite singers black, their favorite basketball players black, favorite boxers black, but they hate niggas.
He said they black, but they not. They not. They not black. They not. I mean, they not niggas. They not. That's
I'm
how he
not
was
black.
framing
I'm
that shit.
OJ.
Yeah, but then you got people, you got coons that fall into that shit. You know what I'm saying? They really get around these people and be like, well, damn, they not that fucking bad. That's that one black friend syndrome. That's just so fucking irritating. Like, I did a whole program on the Undertaker as to why me and you, Duke, we did a whole thing on why the Undertaker is a racist white man, why Mark Calloway is a racist white man. And the only thing white folk could go for is he's friends with the Godfather. A motherfucker who at this point you probably only see once every other year. You know what I'm saying? So, that one black friend syndrome never meant shit to me. Especially when we are in the field of professional wrestling. And this is another thing about wrestling with racism. This is why it's so fucking frustrating to me. This is a nerdy thing. A lot of people generally shun their nerds. Just as much as we may shun homosexuals, just as much as we may shun anybody that may not seem of culture. You know what I'm saying? If we don't have the same vibe in music, clothing, food, entertainment, overall, um, anything, then what are we gonna talk about? How are we gonna vibe? How are we gonna connect? You know what I'm saying? And that's another divisive tactic that America could use us over us. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so I don't like it because I think I did see a video. Don't feel like looking for it now because that was a little while back, but I did see a video of an American Negro sitting up here talking about he faced more racism from American Negroes because we talk about each other. And these are generally tethers talking points. Y'all talked about us, y'all bullied us, this, that, and the other. Which in essence it could have been the other way around, especially in places like New York, where they outnumbered American Negroes. Places like Florida, where they outnumber American Negroes. You know what I'm saying? It could have been the other way around, but
Oh yeah,
they gonna use that for what it is.
yeah.
One thing about black people is we cap each other. That's what the fuck we do. Dude, you a AEW fan,
Mm.
I'm gonna roast the shit out your ass. Mike, you a AEW fan, y'all watch that shit, I'm gonna roast the shit out y'all motherfuckers. But I got a love for y'all. And even no matter, and especially the type of conversations that we have, if we were to ever piss each other off and shit, about anything, I could never hate y'all. Have a hate for y'all.
No, I mean, hey, it is what it is. These people, I think a lot of it's just they don't know that type of culture we have, and they, like the song said, they're not like us.
And the thing is,
You know.
we are the only ones that's labeled wrong
Mhm.
for embracing our culture or doing our culture things. Everything within our culture to them supposedly is negative. And even, and now just gonna make this a topic too. I might as well make it now. Y'all do know the definition of black and the definition of white, right?
Yeah. Mm.
So looking at the true definition as they put it, when they speak black, and we talking about white, we look at black as one way, just like we look at nigga as one way, right? And they look at as another. And they pushing us to be black so goddamn much, right? Is this what white folk think about when they think of black? The true definition and everything
They're
surrounding it.
obsessed, man. They are obsessed because it's just they all they think about because they need a villain at the end of the day. Most of these people need a villain at the end of the day. They need someone to blame for all their troubles, worries, and everything else. It's the black man, black person. And I think at the end of the day, if the black person did not exist, I think they would have to invent someone or they just use another one as a scapegoat because,
So
they can't live with their
you just
failures,
got exposed to these white spaces, right?
You told me about it. Shit, I can never catch one. That shit don't be coming across my feed. I ain't, I ain't never stepped
And you
foot in.
gotta catch them. It just usually be trending, and that's I don't look for them. So this is what I'm gonna do right now. Uh, the first thing is I don't know if I put it in a playlist. I think I did. Actually, I did. So the first thing I need everybody to do, and I see we got some other people in here, and I don't think I know. I know I see some of y'all in different spaces, but I don't know y'all personally. If y'all do want to come up and say something, then you're more than welcome. Wrestling related or not, whether you all are wrestling fans or not, you can see it's an open discussion right now. Even though we're going to get back on the wrestling tip, you're more than welcome. Uh, but I need everybody to, that's whether you're a wrestling fan or not, to subscribe to Wrestling with Racism. On YouTube, Rasslin. Hope I spelled that right. With racism. If not, y'all know how to spell right. You'll find it. With racism, because we do touch on things other than professional wrestling. But if you actually pay attention to what we're talking about, it actually tied in with America and the world. On top of that, specifically to gain a greater understanding, be sure to check out the series Message to the Grassroots series. This is going to talk about directly where we are and where we are headed. And you can always give your feedback based off of that. Did I put the shit in the Jumbotron? No, I didn't. Uh, let's see where we are right here. All right, so
Mm. But I'm gonna say something before I head out. Um, I have to say one thing about you know, the WE stuff. The Saturday Night's
my
main
bad.
event.
Was I on mute
I
the
gotta
whole
say one
time?
thing about it.
Was I on mute the whole time?
Oh yeah, there was a bit of a
Oh
silence.
shit.
Oh, let me just see if I'm on.
No, go ahead, Duke. I can hear
Hello,
you.
can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I was gonna say I was gonna go talk about Saturday main event and such. I wanted to say one thing. I like the fact that WE, even in these shows and everything else, they have to put all that on like social media. They can't put it on the regular show. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, it's just like, and it doesn't really like, oh, it's gonna help us trend. Man, trending only lasts like for a minute, and it wasn't even that much for trend. Only 10,000 people only trended it. And that's nothing.
well,
I'm talking about if you want something really trend, you get like you have to get like at least
Duke,
100,000,
I'm glad you brought that
right?
up, and I do want to say this. I was on mute. I don't know how long I was on mute, but I said a bunch of fucking shit. Duke, I want to. say something on what you just said right quick. This is another difference that you could tell with the WWE and AEW, and where you could actually tell the standings of AEW. Their social media views, their YouTube views and shit like that. Okay, so yes, the ratings is down. And social media is a big presence, and a lot of people, I believe that every wrestling fan, whether they're casual or not, or is at least aware of AEW, and they don't get no million views, and they don't even get close. They barely they average 10,000 or less views on the shit that they be posting and shit. So I don't believe that
on
nobody truly
YouTube and
get on
such.
YouTube and Twitter. I don't, I'm not too much of Facebook and know if they show views or shit like that, but they don't have no real
They do.
traction. AEW don't have no real traction. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think the reason why is because WWE is so hot right now, and they're just basically
But
doing the
I just,
same
but
NWO stuff
remember,
AEW
I
is.
said that AEW, everybody that's even at least a casual is at least aware that AEW exists, and if AEW is providing great wrestling, which is something that somebody would possibly want to see,
I don't.
then they should be able to have greater views than what they got, right?
Oh yeah,
And
I
Tony
think
Khan
that's
got money, so he could
that's what.
drive, this, that, and the other, and it's just not popping for them like that. So how do you explain that aspect?
Oh well, like I said, WWE is hot right now, and even when they're not hot, they still get millions of views. In fact, one of the most viewed video of WWE's thing. You know what it is? I believe it's the Great Khali and like Natalia kissing
Oh wow,
someone or something
yeah,
like
I
that. Like
remember
kissing
that. I
stuff.
just didn't think it'd be up there. It is, it's dumb shit like that.
It's what the people. That's a different
So
audience.
once
The
again, now
audience is
what you
there.
saying that? Do you believe what you saying that? Uh, and you are more
Oh well,
on.
even with the AEW is hot, they barely got they only got like maybe 300,000, 500,000 views.
Well,
But you know,
you more on
it's but like I said,
you more on the uh wrestling, with you knowing that. Um, do you believe that people are looking for good wrestling? I'm just talking about the casual. Do you believe that people are looking for good wrestling, or do you just think they looking for a good ass show?
both. I think they are looking for both actually, and it's hard because I mean I've seen stuff with good
I mean,
wrestling,
how
and
can
I
you
have stuff
watch?
with a
Let's
good,
say that AEW got what, 2, 4, 7, 7 hours of programming a week, not including pay-per-views. But then when they do get their pay-per-views, and the pay-per-views could possibly be bangers or whatever the fuck, whatever, right? Uh, how much great wrestling can you watch out of 7 hours every single week on top of the entertainment that you may watch in the WWE?
WWE, AEW. I don't watch all of that because I did that once upon a time. You know, I used to like podcasts and like, oh, here's my review of this, that, the other. I just got exhausted. 3 hours of Raw, like an hour of NXT or whatever, NXT
I mean,
UK,
you still got your life, and you still got
205
your
Live.
family, and you still got to work, and you still got school, or whatever you got to do, and then you still got other shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, how
Oh
much?
yeah, other like
I don't
entertainment
like
too.
talking to a lot of wrestling fans
I
because they
just
expect me to watch every fucking thing, and I could, and me, the way I am with wrestling, I could
I
sum it up. Listen, on Twitter, or look, I can see what's going on, and I already know what it is. I know what the feud is. I know where it's going, and all this other different shit. I don't want to see the shit. What is the most? And I'm asking everybody now. Can y'all give me five of the top storylines in wrestling across AEW and the WWE right now? No detail, just five of the top storylines. Everybody.
Roman and Roman the bloodline stuff.
I think the Cody
Bloodline.
Kevin Owens things should have concluded at Saturday night's main
You would
event,
think
but
so, right?
Nope, it's not because Kevin Owens just put a power driver on. This is the
And
problem with
this is
WWE, and it's
exactly
the
where
problem with
we at right now. So when I became a fan, Stone Cold had an
the story
opportunity.
never
Stone
ends.
Cold had an opportunity to lose the WWF title at any given time. I knew that he was gonna get it back, and I could have been mad, and I wanted to see him get it back, and that was the beauty of me watching this shit. We know every single title match that Cody Rhodes is going to have. He's going to win the title until WrestleMania. With us having these expectations of Roman Reigns being in this position or Cody Rhodes being in this position, and you know that Solo is going to be the fall guy every single time. How could you watch this shit? What are
It's
you looking
just
for? What are
boring.
you looking for? Are you looking for? I mean, are you looking for
It's
something in a
boring
great
at
match?
this point.
When I, yeah, when I was watching a Raw or a SmackDown back in my day, I wasn't thinking like, oh damn, I'm looking for Stone Cold Steve Austin to have a great match. No, I was just looking for Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wasn't looking for The Rock to have a great match, or I wasn't looking for The Rock to have a great promo. I just sat on my hands and waited to see what the fuck they were going to give me, knowing that these people were going to produce whatever the fuck they did. These people look
Now,
for a fucking
It was
6 month movie, like, and so y'all wasn't up here earlier. Is there any stories? I asked this question earlier. Is there any stories that Triple H, since Triple H came into creative power, is there any story that Triple H started and completed that left you satisfied? But even if he didn't leave you satisfied, is there any story that he started or completed? Started and completed.
I don't think he's completed any of it. I mean, you could say the story with Cody and the Bloodline, but that started under Vince.
Well, that's
So
still going because you got Kevin Owens. The reason why they're feuding is because supposedly of the bloodline. They had this invisible friendship, and this is why Kevin Owens hit the power driver last night, which is going to extend his feud. Like, what?
it just keeps going on and going on to the point where it's like,
Wrestling is so bad to where the
it,
storyline is. Wrestling is so bad to where the storyline is, oh my God, the power driver is back and somebody is selling it. Instead of somebody doing the power driver 50 times in a row and somebody kicking out the shit. Like Daniel Garcia kicked out of it. He kicked out of the 50 of power driver. So if he get the 51st one, then he's losing this AEW title match.
our Ring of Honor match.
Oh yeah.
They started that stuff, by the way.
Well, no, I mean, if you want to be technical with it, The
You gotta
Rock,
look at
and if you
history.
want to be technical with it, The Rock and Stone Cold started in that one match. You know what I'm saying? In
That's
them
true.
couple of matches, because they did it at Survivor Series and shit. They started that around 2001. But white folk just took that and like, oh shit. You notice that white folk took over the cruiserweight division and shit too. At first, it was just Tuco Scorpio who was going out there doing all that. The Tuco Scorpio, we got to give the American Negro the credit. Tuco Scorpio brought everything that you see that Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrero and all that shit. He was doing that on 93, 92, 94, and all that shit. And then them other ethnic groups came in and started doing that in WCW. And then you started noticing Billy Kidman and the AJ Styles and the Amazing Red. You started noticing that these white folk took over that to the point to where they say that Will Ospreay is the greatest wrestler of all time. Is this what you're accepting,
Well, that's
Mike?
what it is,
Is
man.
this what you're accepting, Mike? Mike, are you there? Is this what you're accepting, owner?
no, Will Ospreay and Ricochet are like two of like the worst wrestlers in my perspective.
I mean, really, now, dude, you are a AEW fan. You watch Japan. I'm pretty sure that
Yes,
you are
and I
familiar with.
watched it, and
I'm pretty sure that you believe that Will Ospreay is the greatest wrestler of all time. Right?
not really. I think he's really talented. He's really good, but GOAT status? No, I think he has, ways
What's
to
your
go.
GOAT status? Dude.
GOAT status is someone who
No,
has
I'm
that,
saying, what's your
like,
GOAT
you
status?
build
Who is
up
your
to.
top five?
Honestly,
Yeah.
all right. Macho Man, Randy
Hmm.
Savage, Ric Flair.
Hmm.
Let's see, Stone Cold, Rock, and honestly, I'm gonna say it might piss you off, Brock Lesnar.
It's not
I
gonna
put
piss me
Goldberg up
off.
there.
It's not gonna piss me off. Goldberg would piss me off more than Brock Lesnar, but at the same time, I'm not pissed off by Goldberg. Dude, the reason I asked you this,
I mean, Goldberg was.
But
Goldberg
mm,
was impactful. As I grew older and understood the business and shit, I see the impact of Goldberg. I see the impact of Brock Lesnar. I see why Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker. I'm the only motherfucker that's out here saying that he's the most believable person to beat The Undertaker in the instance. Not even Roman Reigns, like Brock Lesnar. You get what I'm saying? The reality hits in. And like I said,
it's just that the match was terrible, though.
well, I mean, but but actually it was parameters around that. He got a concussion at the beginning of the match. I believe they would have pulled that shit off if he did not have a concussion, right? But at the same time, it actually worked in reality because it makes sense that Brock Lesnar beat this man to where he looked his age and he was able to dominate him and beat the dog shit. It was ugly that night. It was ugly that night, but but it kind of worked for history. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It worked
I
for
just.
history's sake. Match quality, whatever, but at least
Yeah.
it worked for history's sake. Brock Lesnar is believable to do that shit. Could Kenny Omega be believable to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Mm,
Would you even buy them
at that
wrestling
time,
each
no,
other?
not really. Not that at that moment in
You
history.
wouldn't buy
I think
Undertaker
there's you have to
wrestling
have
AJ
people who are
Styles
built
inside
up.
that ring in that WrestleMania, would you? They had to
they
do it the
had
way that
to,
they did.
Mm,
yeah, they had to do the cinematic shit.
yeah, because of age. Oh, and only one I think, and the one person other than that maybe John Cena, because John Cena actually I think they dropped the ball and they should have had John Cena retire him, man. I think John Cena would have been a really good final opponent for the
I
Undertaker
think
if they would
Brock
have
was
done that.
just. I think
Or
that Brock was just fine. John Cena, it would have came full circle because Undertaker
personally,
was one of the first ones to put John Cena on. Mike, if you available, come on up.
and I want to say this though, maybe it's just me, but I don't think they the last match should have been the end of an era match. I think it should have been that because again, it was a great way to finish the whole story and him and Hunter and Sean. I felt like it was going to be a great way to finish all the stuff there, a nice little bow.
Initially,
And then they
initially
had him
that
come
was the
back, which I'm
thought
just
because the Undertaker really didn't do shit uh afterwards to where we bought into it. So yes, that was the ideal one. But I'm still not mad at Brock Lesnar. But yes, that was the
yeah,
ideal
you
one.
know,
And he should have ended after that. He should not have done that Roman Reigns match.
yeah, and they wouldn't have those Saudi matches, which was good Lord. And then him and
Well, I
Kane
think that was
taking
Saudi
on like
because
the old
I think that
ex.
was Saudi. I think that Saudi personally paid for the Undertaker. That Saudi deal is and I'm looking at it from a business aspect. That Saudi deal is, and this is just me straight wrestling. That Saudi deal is they want to try to conform as much to Saudi as possible. Because that produces a great amount of money, and the Undertaker is WWE, so of course they wanted that match, and I believe they personally came out of pocket for that match.
God, for that match. I mean,
Why
everyone
else
got
would they
hurt
put
during
that?
that
There was
match.
no other reason for them to have that match other than those people in Saudi wanted to see the Undertaker before the Undertaker died. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Speaking of the Undertaker,
Or the fact that there's no other stars on WWE's roster that even come close to The Undertaker. Or like they remember during that time they wanted to see, oh, we want to get the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, they wanted Yokozuna. Oh, they wanted these like wrestlers and such.
well, this is the
What does that
reason
tell you
why
about
John
their
Cena
roster?
is having the time that John Cena is having. And let's speak on John Cena. Uh, who over Stone Cold Steve Austin, over Hulk Hogan, had the most consistent success, long lasting, consistent success in the main event. We talking about at least over a decade in one spot. No breaks. John Cena just got his breaks a few years ago. Um, what do you think that John Cena is going to do over the next year? How do you see his career ending? He never put over American Negroes.
He loses. He will lose to Braun Breaker and for the Intercontinental Championship, or maybe he'll just. I think he's going to
What?
lose to him and retire and go on to make more movies with James Gunn.
What? 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 First of all, I think he got cancer or some
That's what
shit.
it's.
He looked fucked up, and he looked.
He can't. He hasn't wrestled. He doesn't wrestle a full schedule. He hasn't wrestled like a full
I mean, look
schedule,
how
and he has
old
like
he looked.
again.
You
He's
know,
in.
he looks. I
Maybe he's doing
seriously.
those Hollywood high parties. He's doing those Hollywood parties or something. Maybe.
And Diddy is older than him and don't look like that. And if y'all want to,
Um,
I hit the stereotype for the first time ever. If it ain't no JD done had these parties and all types of shit, and these motherfuckers barely got wrinkled eyes. I don't want to hear that shit. No, I'm just exploiting the superiority of American Negroes. Um, Genetically.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
CKI. Uh, the lady with the
Oh,
big booty in
I
the
have to get
picture, if
out
you
here,
want to
man.
speak, you more than welcome to. I don't know you. That Negro, I don't know you as well, but I heard you good people, and if you want to come up here and speak on anything, you're more than welcome. Duke, one more thing, with you. Because we did get far removed from the wrestling, and we are going to get ready to wrap it up in a minute, but I do want to talk more about this wrestling stuff real quick. Um, Triple H playing in our face. He told you in October
Oh, he's doing that.
that he doesn't see color, and you could see with Survivor Series, you see they still have the problem with the men. How much faith do you have with NXT with them bringing people up in NXT? How much faith do you have that it's going to translate into Wesley's success in the WWE, and Trick Williams' success in
Man,
the WWE?
I mean, they're gonna be. Oh, don't worry. They're gonna have lots of time on WWE Speed. That's what they're going to be on.
And the
But if
Javon
I want to be
Evans
honest,
and
it's just going to be.
Jakara
I'm
Jackson
going to
and
just be
Last
here.
Legend, and you know,
Oh yeah, they're gonna be there. Don't worry about that if you
it's
care or
fucked
whatever.
up,
But
dude.
I'm
That's
looking at
fucked
that
up.
big picture. It is fucked up. It is
That's
fucked up.
fucked up.
But don't worry, Hunter is not gonna be there. He ain't gonna be
Well,
there.
wait a
You
minute.
know where
Now,
he's gonna be
wait,
at?
wait,
He's
wait,
gonna
wait.
be.
Whoa. If you're gonna bring Vince McMahon back, what? How much of a factor do you think that he's going to change in that sense? I mean, that's like saying that we getting rid of Joe
Well,
Biden for fucking Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is out here taking pictures with Daniel Penny. So, I mean, come on, where are we heading with this for real? This is a dangerous situation though
what
where
we're
we heading
hearing
at.
is it's going to be. It's going. We're gonna head in a situation where these black. I mean, you talk about this, but at the end of the day, he did push some black talent. But here's the crazy thing: people seem to forget about that. Forget about Hit Row. Remember Hit Row was NXT? They got the huge, big, they were all drafted on SmackDown.
Hero is a
Then
stereotype.
piece by piece,
Hero is a stereotype.
yeah, they were
And as much
stereotyped.
as you talk about
And then
ownership,
guess what
Duke,
happened?
when you talk about ownership in the sense of wrestling, I still talk about the fact that we don't have American Negro scouts. We don't have American Negro
You don't
trainers.
have
We don't
bookers,
have American Negro writers,
bookers.
writers and producers, which are the bookers, and they're the people that direct us.
Yeah,
So when we look at that factor, we look at effort, okay? And like we got peckerTom Ron, and peckerTom Ron been down there the whole time. Listen, I know that that's peckerTom Ron. Tom Ron has been embarrassed the last couple of times that he's come up here because he has nothing tangible. I'm sorry, he has nothing aggressive to say uh, to us. He just wants to tell me that I'm a racist. But these are genuine concerns. And when I sit up here and talk about the lack of American Negroes in professional wrestling, I'm not just talking because Tom Ron put up something the other day talking about black wrestlers need to pay their dues. We're going into 2025. You know what I'm saying? And when I bring up, he said that they're starting to get into storylines. Dude, let's look at the New Day. They didn't do nothing with the New Day at all this year. They threw them in that match at WrestleMania and shit, that ladder match at WrestleMania. And then there was a lot of noise leading up to SummerSlam about no black wrestlers wrestling at SummerSlam. So they threw Odyssey Jones out there. And you had to know that they didn't have no plans for Odyssey Jones for real because Bronson Reed debuted the same night. So they threw Odyssey Jones out there and threw him in the New Day. And it didn't work out for him for whatever situation that they made up because he don't have no charges against him. Uh, they fucking started doing things with the New Day, teasing as to whether they're gonna break them up. They went as far as to having Xavier Woods uh, challenge for the Intercontinental title and lose. I think they got a tag team title match or something and lost. And then they've been teasing this shit for months. But they've throughout these last couple of months, they had like 3 or 4 pay-per-views, PLEs, and the New Day couldn't appear on those. They couldn't lose on those PLEs. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all throwing them on Raw just to say that, hey, we're doing something with these niggers, yet they're not doing anything with them. Why couldn't this thing that happened at Raw a couple of weeks ago with Big E, which got over so much with the fans, but it didn't translate to them being on the PLE? Why couldn't they do this thing with Big E at Saturday
because
night's main event?
because they probably didn't want everyone feeling sad or whatever, which is BS.
No, no,
They
come
don't.
on
I
now.
mean,
You know
at
it's
the end of the
bullshit.
day, they don't care. They don't
They
care.
don't care. And they
I
just
think
throwing
at the end of the
anything at the
day,
wind, thinking that, hey, as long as you see a black face, we're satisfied and
they're
content.
hot right now. They're like, we don't care. We can do whatever we want. We're hot
And this
right
is
now.
why I translate Triple
And what
H's.
I
This is why
say,
I translate Triple H's booking because your booking is so trash that you're hot right now and your
but
money
yet,
is in the
like I
bank,
said,
but that's gonna come back and bite your ass in 5 years.
oh, and it's gonna come back 10 times for when people say, "Oh, Vince can't come back." Yada. I'm like, no. TKO has some debt, real bad debt in its books, and I wouldn't be surprised in a couple months from now, Vince gets this whole stuff done thanks to Trump and everything else. He'll pay off
Because
those
who
bills
know
and
how to
everything
handle this
else.
type of business besides Vince McMahon, right?
Yeah, he'll get his investors. Say, hey man, y'all looking pretty bad. This whole WWE thing, I'll buy it back from you because they're all friends, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of them are like they're all best
Yeah.
friends. They're all friends.
Vince should give
So they're gonna
Vince
come
should
in
give a
hugging
couple of
down,
extra
dap.
dollars back, right?
Yeah, they'll give in, get a couple bucks back in. Okay, like, and then here's the tagline: "The power's back." and then he have a little, like, I guarantee a CGI him and or AI, like, him flipping the switch or whatever, and and it's gonna be, people are gonna get mad on this stuff, and they're like, why this happen? I'm like, because this country is ruled by white supremacy. It started off white supremacy, and black folk only 2/3 of a human being, and then this whole nation has been built on cheap and slave labor, and they still don't get it. No
So
one
dope,
gets it
dope,
until it
dope,
finally hits them
dope,
in the
dope,
back.
dope. All right. So now we looking at the fact that now we wrestling with racism. So we looking at the fact that wrestling is trash. And I can recognize that, and you can recognize that. The type of era that it's going into is getting smaller and smaller. Storylines are getting non-existent, and it's getting long, and it's getting easier to tune out. So now we add the racism factor to it. You did know that Triple H is plain in your face. He know that this is an issue, and he continues to make it worse. Tony Khan know that it's an issue, and he tries to put a band-aid on it by giving you a dark-skinned melanated person that's going to tell you that he wants to erase blackness, right? How do you remain a wrestling fan?
Yeah, so well, but you
How do
know
you
what?
remain a wrestling fan?
I mean,
How do you do that?
mm,
How do you get the interest to want to tune in to
yeah,
Saturday night's main event? How do you do that?
you look at the talent around that actually exists, not just WE, but AEW, but also indies. You look at the people who are actually the black folk who are doing and grinding.
Now, notice that I
You know,
said that
that's what I believe.
before I put uh writers and producers, the very first thing that I put was the scouts. So, these people not coming through the door. Whoever the WWE scouts are, they're not looking for American Negroes unless it's forced. Under these four situations, when you got the people that's successful in NXT right now, Wesley, Obafemi, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, all these black or tethers or mixed people that's successful. Once they get to the WWE on top of the people that's successful now, you know that they're going to use the narrative that this is forced. You're doing this only to pander to the niggers, right? How do you think that the locker room is going to react to this?
Mm. Maybe they just think we heard this all before and just try to, oh, it's just drama,
You
and
think
don't
we're going to get
respond to it,
more
which
Tessa
is
Blanchards?
probably,
These are
I
certain
don't know,
things to
man.
look at
I'm
as
just,
we get ready to move forward, as we get ready to wrestle with racism. These are the things that we need to start looking at because it is a position to where American Negroes can progress. Um, on WWE television, by them having no choice. Fans are going to pick with it, but the locker room is going to feel something. They're going to expose their true colors. So we're gonna see wrestling with racism gonna stick around for a little bit. If you got anything else, I can move on to the next one real quick, Duke. And I do appreciate you coming through.
all right, that's all, you know, as always, man, it's nice talking to you. Very interesting takes, man. Be safe. And let's stick together, and hopefully, and next, the rest of the year, and next year, and hopefully, hope is more positive news, because even though we have been in dark places and horrible places and everything else, we as a people not only survive but we thrive. So
Well, that is what
always
black
remember
people looking for when it come down to NXT. We're looking for hope, right?
that. Hope, yeah. All you have to do is decide how much the time's given to you.
Yeah. Well,
All right, be safe,
I
everyone.
appreciate
Peace.
you. We can get ready to cut it in a minute. Owner, are you available? Uh,
Oh, what's up?
who's all available? Just so I could just keep a tally right quick. Who's all left that's available? Anybody that hasn't spoke, if you want to speak, because I am going to get ready to cut it very, very soon. Uh, uh, you can request. And uh, Chad, if you're available, you're more than welcome. Mike, if you're available, you're more than welcome. If not, y'all Negroes got to stop fucking falling asleep. All right, Honor, you got it. What's up?
Uh, shit. uh, I actually watched Saturday night's main event. I mean, I had the shit on in the background. I was doing shit on my phone, but there's nothing as a wrestling fan today to really like attach yourself to like get interested in, to follow. Like maybe uh on some of these like YouTube shows, these smaller indies, but
So you
like as
don't
far as
have five, and I'm talking about WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan. You don't have five top storylines that you're interested into right now.
I can't think of five characters that I'm interested in.
Mm.
Like and I'm thinking
I mean, what is
30
Swerve
years ago,
Strickland character? You know,
I mean, he's just a token black guy.
can't think of no other character. Oh, is he a heel? Is he a face? Is he a, what the fuck is a Swerve Strickland?
I don't, he raps.
Our truth rap, and he literally did it every single time that he came down the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like it may have been the same old song, but you know, I guess that's what they expect niggers to do. Uh, you throw some dreads on him and throw some gold teeth in his mouth, and that's it, right?
Give him
Uh,
give him a gold chain, a fur coat. It's always the same character. It's always the same. Like why doesn't it? Why don't they promote Xavier as like a Dean Douglas? You know, Douglas used to have the teacher gimmick. Xavier's that nigga a whole doctor. Why don't they
I mean, that's the
present that?
shit that I'm talking about. These are the things that you expect based off of the surrounding life, but why not do things outside the box that you don't expect from Xavier Woods? Or is this exactly what you expect? Just to bring him out, to parade him out, say we have black people, and this is what black people do. They gyrate, they talk about booty, and they eat pancakes every morning. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Stereotypes. And this is what I was saying about tangibles, and this is why it's most important for us to have Black American writers and shit. You could portray us as thugs, this, that, the other, but it's just the true story of how these thugs, this, that, and the other are. You know what I'm saying? If it's not written in the proper hands, then you can notice the difference. If you watch the Jeffersons in the first few seasons, I'm sorry, Good Times in the first few seasons, what was written by Eric Monte and Michael Evans, who was Lino off the Jeffersons and shit. And then you can see what was written by white folks as the show progressed. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a different type of care that these people put. And this, like I said, there's no real effort. Ronald, being the type of bitch that he is, gonna sit up here. And Ronald, you could come on up here because I know you the one listener down there. Ronald being the type of bitch that he is sitting up here talking about that Bianca Belair need to pay her dues. Black
I,
people need to pay their dues. Like what?
she's the most uh athletically gifted. She's the most charismatic person on the roster, hands down. Like I can't think of another uh talent they have on contract that matches her. And then CM Punk
Just look
doesn't
at
touch
any
her.
sport. I mean, is there any sport that black and white folk play together? That white folk dominate the black people in?
Like I can't think of like I'm thinking about boxing champions, the lineal heavyweight
Oh
champions,
God,
and
they
how many of
the
them have been.
hell you think this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson had? But they needed that great white hype to beat Mike Tyson. White folk been
But
looking for the great white hype in boxing since the 20s.
and it hasn't come yet. All the most dominant champions in boxing have all been
I mean, Tommy
Negroes. Most
Morrison, if George Foreman would have ate his ass the fuck up.
Tom Aspinall can't do shit with John Jones.
No. So we talking about nature. And in entertainment, American Negroes are the most entertaining people in the world. We're the most charismatic people in the world. Somebody sat up here and said earlier that it was a Friday clip, and they said that you don't have many people in the world like John Witherspoon, nigga. You don't know me. You don't know my cousins. You don't know my brothers. You don't know my uncles. You don't know my aunties. You don't know my grandma. You don't know my grandparents. You don't know my daddy, nigga. We funny as hell. We funnier than John Witherspoon. I know John Witherspoon in person, not the man, but I know the man in person. You better not touch his motherfucking grapes. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so you get one person that portray us overall. You get what I'm saying? That he get the high acclaim. He's not going to be looked at as a nigger, despite portraying a nigger. You know what I'm saying? LeVar Ball put that in perfect perspective when you talk about these debates about who's the greatest of all times, Michael Jordan and LeBron James and shit. It's many people that have possibly been potentially greater than Michael Jordan and LeBron James to never have the opportunity to go to the schools that they went to and to be looked at. These people just play on the courts on the streets. You know what I'm saying? And they never pulled nobody off the streets to be in the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of guys get kept out of that opportunity for whatever reason. It's a they do really strenuous background checks when they go to draft
Oh yeah, from a
guys for the
child.
league.
From a child. You better believe that Kevin Durant was scouted from a fucking child. Unfortunately, injuries prevailed over him. But you better know that they've been knowing this dude since he was 10 years old. So when they get ready to get down to professional wrestling, like I said, it's a smaller space for white supremacy. But due to social media, American Negroes have been able to voice their opinions and it's starting to become louder and it's starting to become collective. Now we need to get to the point to where we get American Negroes to delineate so that they can show exactly where the problem is. When you do delineate WWE roster, like I said, when you strip the WWE all the way down to its draws, you'll see exactly where the problem is, especially when they throw these J Cardios out, and especially when they throw these Femis and almost out. And these are the people that you are projected to have greater success than Bianca Belair, the Street Profits, Wesley, and Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. And not taking nothing away from their talent and their ability, but this is an American organization. How many American Negroes are succeeding in the African promotions? How many American Negroes are succeeding in Japanese promotions? How many American Negroes are succeeding in Caribbean promotions? How many of them are succeeding in Hispanic, I'm sorry, Mexican promotions? You know what I'm saying? You can always talk about these Hispanics that come over here and have success. You can always talk about white folk that go over to Hispanic promotions, Japanese promotions, and shit that have success. But American Negroes is non-existent in those promotions, and you don't see me ever advocating much for that because my main focus is these American promotions. We represent America. When we go to the Olympics and shit, we dominate in America for America, I should say. You know what I'm saying? And they look towards us for that. America wouldn't have as many gold medals as it has, silver medals as it has, or even bronze medals as it has if it wasn't for American Negroes. So why is it in the fake scripted sports that we can't be presented as such on television? Why do you believe that is?
And it all comes back to who's controlling the presentation. They have
Tangibles.
they have every opportunity to present people any kind of way. All right, you can make anybody a star in wrestling. All right, you just book them to win,
Wrestling is easy. Wrestling is
make them
for
look
wrestling
stronger.
fans' sake. Wrestling is easier than you thought. You just once you know how to put it together, right?
It really is. It's not a whole lot goes into it.
Once you know how to put it together, and when you get an organization like WWE who could get you the best outfits, who could get you the best makeup and know how to present television, you know what I'm saying? Make you look like a television star. It's no different than putting makeup and clothes on. What's that dude name from Growing Pains? Cameron. James Cameron or some shit like that. It's no different than that. I'm just talking about a white person that they could promote. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than that. And they can present you to make you invested into these people to where you look like a superstar. Don't you get a different feel? Do you go to WWE shows?
I personally never been to a live show, but I know what you mean. Like
You get a different
it's
feel
it,
when you're there.
there's a
You
lot of pageantry in it.
once you go there, you get a different feel when you're there. It's not like what you uh I don't know. You're gonna have to go there just to see what I'm talking about. I can't explain it.
It is a
It's either better
spectacle.
or it's worse. I'll put it like that.
But like when you watching on TV, like when you really there and like you hearing the pyro going off and
Well, when
seeing the
you
lights.
there, it look fake as shit. When you there, I mean, they don't hit each other at all. Like it looks better connected on TV and shit. And no matter how close or far you are, it just look like wrestling is fake. You know what I'm saying? Their job is easy as fuck. And then, like I said, I noticed that Dolph Ziggler helped me realize that. I went to Raw and like you notice with all these commercials and shit, that's pretty much all Raw turned into. You get your entrance, and then you get people stand out there for about 3 minutes while the commercial going on and shit. And I was just standing there one time. Dolph Ziggler made his entrance, and he was standing out there for 3 minutes, just standing at ringside. And I'm all in my phone, and I forgot that Dolph Ziggler even came out, and I just looked up. The lights was kind of down, but I kind of looked up like who the fuck is that standing at ringside? They about to interfere or something. They just look small as shit. And then you know, the other person came out. I forgot who his opponent was, and they had like a 2 minute match. Boom, and that was it. Three, four moves, boom, called it a night. And I'm like, damn, Dolph Ziggler making some easy fucking money. Cause this is all he got to do every single night. You get what I'm saying? And you really think that a motherfucker like him is bitching when he's able to produce this money for 2 decades? And this is all the W. I just view it a whole different way. This is their night every night. Nobody is putting on the match no longer than 10 minutes every single night. The hardest part about wrestling is traveling. You know what I'm saying? That's the hardest fucking part. Other than that, you go to these WWE shows, you're gonna look at it as this shit easy as fuck. And anybody can fucking do it. So I go back to say, with us being the most entertaining and spectacular people in the world, why can't we be presented as such? And you can't say that we not out here because you go to these indie promotions around the country, and it may not be so prevalent in your state or the indie promotions that's around you. I know you live in the white dominated, white supremacist, I should say, state. Uh,
Yeah, if I go to an indie show, it's gonna be a damn
Hunky
white rally.
dory ass, yeah. KKK. Nigga, what you doing here? You in a dangerous spot. But at the same time, there are a lot of American Negroes around the indie scenes, in a lot of states, especially Michigan. A good portion, a good 60% may be American Negro. I ain't gonna say that. I'll say a good 40% is American Negro, and that's a good portion. For a state, large state, they got a lot of promotions. Um, if it's not racism, knowing these factors, if it's not racism, what's the problem? Because I initially asked the question. Triple H doesn't see color; he only see talent. So I'm gonna go back to ask the question: what current American Negro on the WWE roster is not talented enough to even appear on a pay-per-view leading into 2025? Mike, if you're available, you can come on in. Chad, if you're available, you can come on in. These the sleepy Negroes. Bro, what's up? I see you. What's up? Honor, you got it. Do you believe
Like
it's
Montez
talent or do
Ford,
you think it's color? We could get ready to wrap
Montez
it up too.
Montez is like he can go. All right, that dude, he's just as athletic as anybody. He's got the physique, uh, the presence on the mic. He's entertaining. Angelo is a powerhouse.
What's up with that give and
Cedric
take
Alexander
shit? What's
is
up? What's up
missing
with that give and take shit? Because when white folk is prepared for this shit, Negroes is prepared for this shit, and tethers is prepared for this shit. If white folk, a lot of people concern is with the street profits is if they break up, that Montez Ford is going to have this unlimited success, and Angelo Dawkins is going to have no success. And they even got to the point to where they claim that Montez Ford won't leave the Street Profits because he's afraid uh, of the lack of success that Angelo Dawkins will have.
like why
What
couldn't
do you feel about this up down situation? In order for us to bring a Negro up, we got to have a Negro down.
because why couldn't Angelo Dawkins beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship?
Right.
Why not?
What ability does Cody Rhodes have that the average mid carder doesn't have? Like, what makes Cody Rhodes stand? I look at Cody Rhodes for what he is. He's dusty. All right, don't get me wrong. He's dusty. He know how to play the media. Uh, he know how to play the media. That's where Cody Rhodes win. Everything that he do. He know how to uh, uh, suspend your disbelief. Facial expressions, movements, certain movements in the ring. That's old school. He got that from Dusty. He got a Dusty spirit. And not to mention he know how to handle the media, especially in the modern era. But I'm talking about specifically in the ring. What can Cody Rhodes do that Brad Armstrong didn't do? Or Tommy Dreamer?
I was just looking at a BA match the other day. I'm saying if you drop BA in today's current WWE talent pool, like how do you not
Shit,
make that dude a champion?
he'd be fucking John Cena by now. That's for sure. He'll be John Cena by now. Uh, that's how great he was. Same thing with Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat, instead of being a 1, 2 time world champion, he would have been a fucking 15-time world champion. Now we at the point to where if Roman if Solo Sokoa or Daniel Garcia, one of them got a great interest or some shit, they need to be a fucking world champion for life. Like the wrestling fans is fooling themselves.
Like we like why not make Wheeler Yuta the AEW champion? Because the way I see it right now, the AEW championship don't mean shit, and Wheeler Yuta don't mean shit. So go ahead, put it on. I don't care.
Damn, I don't listen. I don't know why I keep doing this. I did say that if the AEW did create a cruiserweight championship, then the world title wouldn't mean shit in AEW. I mean, that'll be the top title to go for. Everybody's small as fuck. Suspension of disbelief is a big thing, and I am going to talk about that on the next one because we need to talk about on the more of the wrestling aspect size in the business suspension of disbelief. I am going to talk about that later on. That goes into steroids. Obviously they can't use steroids anymore, so it's exposed how small the business could actually be. I do need to get ready to wrap it up. It's getting on midnight, but I do uh have just a couple of more things to get out the way real quick. Um, how much longer are we gonna take Triple H playing in our face? Uh, Triple H, like I said, know that this is an issue. He's even addressed it. Not only has he addressed it, but it seems like he doubled or tripled down on the fact that he's not going to do anything to progress American Negroes. How much longer do American Negro wrestling fans need to sit down and take this shit?
I,
Uh,
I can't watch shit that this man produces. It's all garbage.
so do we continue to exploit the problem in the hopes that enough American Negro wrestling fans could make a play to publicly put this shit out? See, like I said, us boycotting it is not going to do anything. With that company being valued over $20 billion, 20 billion, um, our taking our money out of it isn't going to do anything. Throwing these crimes in their faces along with the wrestlers walking away. How much effort do you think that we should put into that, or you think we should overall cave into the white supremacists and stop being fans against our interest? Knowing that some of these whites and other ethnic groups can entertain us, just knowing that it's coming from a place of people who don't see us or don't want to see us progress in this company. How do we remain fast?
We can't. You it's That's suicide. You can't.
Suicide. It's a true test from God, right? I mean, because the white supremacists win if we walk away from it too now, completely. I mean, like I said, this is a sport that we love and admire and got an admiration for. Even, some of my greatest wrestlers, some of my favorite wrestlers are white. Hulk Hogan was, I could see how Hulk Hogan is one of the greatest wrestlers. I could see it. You get what I'm saying? But I'm a nigger than him.
Steve Austin's whole character was a skinhead. That's my favorite wrestler of all time.
And that's his character. On top of that, more than likely from that man from Texas, you are a nigger to him and me. You know, uh, Dusty, Dusty Rhodes is a man that played off of, or cosplayed off of our uh, culture, literally. And it's crazy because I always say that if you get a black man to do what Dusty Rhodes did, that shit wouldn't come off authentic at all. It'll look like some bullshit because Dusty Rhodes did what white folk think that black people do. And that was funny to him and that was funny to us and it worked out for him financially to the point to where generational wealth. His sons are able to make his son is 60 making money in this business and he has another son that's 40 that's the top man in this business. Now, Dusty Rhodes was a white supremacist because it's a difference between a racist and a white supremacist. Dusty was a racist white supremacist. There's many people that got stories against Dusty um, on the racism tip, but as a white supremacist, Dusty Rhodes was booking these shows. He was talking about bookers. Dusty Rhodes was the primary writer for the NAA and the NWA and WCW, and even the beginning of NXT. A lot of white folk credit Dusty Rhodes for helping develop them in NXT.
I don't remember who was the big talent, the big Negro talent that came out that early in NXT.
Well, you don't remember because they weren't there. And then we talking about the powerful Dusty Rhodes. So, when Dusty got to the WWF, they threw him in polka dots. And Dusty didn't care about the polka dots. I got an interview. I'm not going to put it up now. I'll get it to you by tomorrow or sometime this week. Dusty spoke about his experience with Sapphire, and he said he let it be known that Sapphire was not his first choice. Sapphire was not his choice at all. He hated doing that, but he did it for the sake of that's his job, and he's going to perform extra well for that, right? And Dusty was getting a good portion of money, especially based off of his experience. And Sapphire was probably being paid lower than the janitor. She was really getting $25 in the hot dog to be at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And Dusty let it be known that he was glad that it was over. But he made more money in the WWF than he ever did in the NWA previous to that for doing something that he hated with a woman that he essentially said that he hated. And I got this. Y'all could think I'm bullshitting. I got this interview. I'll put that up some point tomorrow. But this is a man that cosplayed off of our culture, and we supposed to like that little fat old little boy because he was entertaining. How do you remain a Dusty Rose fan? Is it because that you see? Is it? Do you remain a Dusty Rose fan because you see his talent and not his color or lack thereof?
And I do compartmentalize like that. You do have because I fuck around and I'll listen to Leonard Skinner some fucking times and them motherfuckers racist as hell. But I like Freebird.
I don't know how the fuck I'm about to be a Maxwell fan from here on out. I mean, he ain't been disrespectful, but he Puerto Rican um and Haitian, and I just talked to a Haitian earlier. I could have jumped through the phone and kicked his ass today. But and them Puerto Ricans be disrespectful too. So I gotta take the chance to find out these people is racist. And then on top of that, or racist or have a certain type of view about American Negroes. Then on top of that though. And see, here's another thing, and this shit that be getting me about white folk, about other people. Like, especially peckerTom Ron that's down there. You sit up there, y'all want us to sit around and wait for white folks to call you a nigger or something, just for you to say that they racist and shit like that. Why we gotta sit around, especially these white folk in power, especially when you see that things aren't necessarily going in your favor, when they got grave potential to. Same thing in political areas, with Democrats and Republicans and shit. You look for these people for certain things, and they got all types of excuses. Once they get what they want from you as to why they couldn't do these things for you, and you take their excuses and name it justified. These are games that they are playing in front of your face with the hopes, and this is where we go back to NXT, with the hopes that things is going to change just because it appeared in your face. Like I said, with all the pandering that Triple H has been doing in your face, American Negroes are still not wrestling on Saturday night's main event. They're still not wrestling on these other PLEs or pay per views. Swerve Strickland won the AEW championship, yet we just advocated for Shane Taylor, who's nowhere to be found. We just advocated for Leah Moriarty, who's nowhere to be found. We just advocated for Scorpio Sky, who's literally missing. You know what I'm saying? Um, they playing in our face, and American Negro wrestling fans continue to take this shit. To get ready to wrap it up. Uh, Violence has generally been the answer to uh, changeable result, right? It's always been the key to move forward, right?
Right on.
Who know that better than white folk, right? Right? Um,
White folks very intimate with violence in their history.
in war, how many people have to die in order for in order for one side to cave in, right? That's generally what make people cave in, right? Um, Triple H got heart problems. Um, Triple H is the man that said he doesn't see color. He's going to be dead soon with his heart problems. Bobby Lashley is a Panamanian. And them Panamanians down there in Panama can't drive. Wasn't didn't left eye die down there in Panamania for correction did. she Bobby Lashley might go down there to visit his old dear old mother and just pass away from a mosquito bite or something. Tony Khan. Uh, Tony Khan is 42, 43 years old. And for some reason, I've been seeing on the news lately, these people been dying of natural causes at this age. So it's almost his time. And his mother's been sick. And the good thing about Tony Khan's mother is she's about to pass away. And so that could be. I don't. I said that wrong. Tony Khan. Uh, the good thing about Tony Khan's mother passing away, it's unfortunate if she passed away, obviously for him. But if she does pass away, I think Tony Khan is so much of a punk bitch that he may back away from the company and let it go. Like he don't know how to move past his mother dying. So when she passes away, I think that Tony Khan is going to lose all sense of reality that he has left and leave
He
from
gonna
the
start hitting
business.
free base harder.
Oh boy, he already freebasing that motherfucker out of control, ain't he? It's going to affect his life now. The way he do that. We look forward to that so Tony Khan could get out of. I mean, because I think that's the only way that Tony Khan is going to get out of the business. And if he get out of the business, if he sell it or something, I think that it has greater potential to succeed. Right? If he sell it to Master P, Percy Miller, and you know he got the money, then he may have a greater interest in doing something with his investment. Um, if you want to know that white supremacy exists, take a look at Percy Miller and Walmart. Uh, I'll just leave that part on that. Um, Also, speaking of people dying, I think I got Triple H and all them out the way. So, if it's an abrupt, and I'm gonna get ready to close on this. If it's you notice that you start to see these fights at WWE shows. Um, that's going to take the family aspect of wanting to come to these shows. Karen don't want to bring Timmy to a fucking show, knowing that there's going to be violence, right? Um, WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas at 420. I'm going to be in Vegas um, during that time. I don't know if I'm going to WrestleMania. Them fucking tickets high as hell. I don't have to go to WrestleMania. Just the atmosphere is going to be good enough, especially if it get bloody. And I think that we need to start thinking if we could think revolutionary in certain areas, then we need to start thinking about it in wrestling. You understand what I'm saying on it? These wrestling fans got some smart ass mouths anyway, so it'd be cool to just pop them upside the head once or twice. And I think they'll be able to think twice uh, about wanting to step in front of us in front of the line at the concessions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Maybe catch one of these out of town shows. At a city where you a stranger at.
You told me where you was at. WWE don't go where you don't have to say where you at. I know, but the WWE don't go where you at, do
No, very
they? At
rarely,
all.
very rarely, if ever. It's not a big market. For the, no, it's not a big market.
And like even in the bigger city, right?
The biggest city they frequent is probably a 3-4 hour drive.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna discuss that later. But I could see what you said, and I could see what you said. So we're gonna discuss that later. Um, Anything that I possibly missed? It is one more thing that I do want to say because I keep neglecting Tony Khan. Um, you know, when we give these discussions, when we give these major discussions about the racism, It's been leaning more towards the WWE. I do have a lot of material on AEW and their racism from earlier this year, even a couple with peckerTom Ron, as to where I explained clearly the standings of AEW and how I feel about Tony Khan, racism, um, flexing white supremacy. And this is months ago, and nothing has changed. So if you check it out, then you would notice that nothing has changed now, with the exception that uh, a Hispanic, a brown man, Bobby Lashley, is there and want to erase blackness. Um, but you can see, if we talked about this earlier, they don't seem like they have nothing concrete for the Hurt Syndicate. They threw him in there with Swerve, and Swerve is not moving, beyond that. We established that. Um, if you go back and listen to the older stuff when it come down to AEW, you see that nothing's changed. As a matter of fact, it's gotten worse, because now we're at the point where instead of Shane Taylor and Leah Moriarty jobbing on AEW television, they're not being featured on AEW television at all. You'll notice then that I was saying that Athena was not being featured on Dynamite or Collision or Rampage, and today she's still not being featured on Collision, Rampage, or Dynamite. Um, Private Party is the tag team champions, but they're not doing anything different than what they were doing before, especially considering the people that they beat. Uh, Elevate Private Party even more. So I say all that to say that the WWE, I have been focusing more on them because they have been a bigger platform. AEW is low on making money. AEW is low on ratings. AEW is low on uh, attendance. But I do have to keep in the context, in case AEW get bigger than what it is, that they haven't been doing anything with American Negroes before. They're not doing anything with with the American Negroes now. And when they don't do anything with AEW Negroes, with American Negroes and AEW, you can always refer back and say that I told you from the get go. So you wouldn't be disappointed. Advocate for change now, so that you wouldn't be disappointed. At least be aware that that the people that they present to you are not American Negroes. Bobby Lashley is a Hispanic, so that you wouldn't face this disappointment. When you look into the space and see this anti-black shit that Moose said, he's a Nigerian, and when you study how Nigerians are with Americans, especially in modern days, that these people does not represent you, and that these people does not are not in a position to speak for you. These people don't have the same experiences that you have. They don't want it. They want to avoid it, and they want to avoid going back to a true black experience in their black homeland. Delineation is going to be a major topic over the next few episodes. But this is not going to be a continuous topic, because by mid January, everyone should be able to get it. And if not, then you will be dismissed. With that being said, um, I don't have anything left on the wrestling end right now. Y'all could go back and check out the stuff that we did last week. Speaking about Hispanics, those Latinos who like to identify as white, like Eddie Guerrero, love child, apparent love child, because it's still not proven that he's her daughter, that she's his daughter. Um, we also discussed shit. I forgot. The last couple of episodes is up there. Oh, Daniel Penny situation. It was less wrestling based, but we did get into a good portion of wrestling based. But we had to get this one out the way as we get ready to head forward into the new year. The Netflix era. Um, Triple H playing in our face, and how long are we going to sit here and take this without some type of action? Okay. And don't be afraid to pop these white motherfuckers that sit next to you in these seats upside the motherfucking head. Um, Chad, are you up here? Mike, are you up here? That Negro, do you have anything you want to add before I get ready to close? Uh, KI and whatever flag that is up there, do you have anything that you want to add? I don't know you. Real. Do you have anything that you want to add? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, Real, if you want to come up to put a request. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. Honor, do you have anything that you want to add before we dip?
This was this was a good talk, man. Enjoyed discussing this topic with you guys. Look forward to next time.
Well, I didn't enjoy it either. I didn't. These are not the types of conversations that I feel like that we need to have all the damn time. I would like to say that I enjoyed Saturday night's main event, which is nostalgic to me, but it's also nostalgic at the fact that when you look at the history of Saturday night's main event, American Negroes were never successful at that event. Junkyard Dog may have had a match here and there, this, that, and other. No, when you think Saturday night's main event, you don't think black. And we're getting ready to head into 2025. And apparently, Saturday night's main event is going to be a thing a couple of times a year. And it's unfortunate that this may be a conversation that we have 6 months from now, and
Hey,
it's
but
not supposed to be. I would like to rejoice over the success of Carmelo Hayes, individually from Trick Williams, individually from Bianca Belair, individually from Angelo Dawkins, individually from Montez Ford, individually from Xavier Woods, individually from R Truth, individually from Wesley, individually from Lash Legend, individually from Jakar Jackson. And I know that they got to come across each other sooner or later, but it shouldn't have to be lumped. This is an unfortunate conversation that we have had today.
and it is. You're
You
right.
know,
You're absolutely right. This is a fucked up condition, but
I may
you
have
know
made
we
some
could
jokes, man, but I laugh
we
to
could
keep
be.
everybody else from crying. You know what I'm
Hey, look,
saying?
bro. I mean, we could be sitting back watching this shit, just enjoying it, mindlessly consuming it
On
like
top of
nothing's
enjoying
wrong.
Brian Breaker and enjoying Gunther and all that shit, right? Like,
We could be one of these motherfuckers actually having fun watching this shit. Imagine that, enjoying this shit.
but when you play in the motherfucker face, then, you know, that turned the whole tide. Now I just feel like you just don't need to be here, right? So Vince McMahon not being here, Vince McMahon dying and shit ain't going, you know that. Linda dying and shit. Who you think gonna die first, Linda or Vince?
Shit.
All right, let me ask you an easier question. Who you think gonna die first, Stephanie or Triple H?
It'd be a horrible irony for Vince and Leonard to have to bury one of their kids.
I don't know. I like Vince McMahon.
That'd be a terrible tragedy.
I like Vince McMahon. I think I like Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon is a white man that white folk hate. Or maybe I got suckered by the entertainment that he provided. You know what I'm saying? All while, he didn't play in our face. He let you know that he didn't give a fuck about black people. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah, I don't hate Vince for
Triple
I
H, Triple H is. You understood what I meant when I said that Triple H was more blatant with his shit, right? Like Triple H literally coming out like that aristocrat that he was, letting you know, like niggas, fuck yeah.
yeah.
You know, Vince just didn't address the shit. And, you know, another thing too, everybody's sitting up here talking about, oh, back in the day, people didn't talk about race and it was all about watching wrestling and entertaining and all this other different shit.
I was
Nigga,
just
social
watching the
media,
Nation of
what now? How
Domination.
the fuck you know how people really truly feel?
Like I was just watching the Nation of Domination. That whole uh, storyline, that whole gimmick was about race. So
When the Nation of Domination started, and you could tell, like, that was Vince Russo shit, New York. Uh, when the Nation of Domination started, it was a very militant group, and they had the Latinos and the Puerto Ricans in there, Los Barracos, and fucking Los Barracos, and I think Savio Vega might have got in there or whatever.
Crowbar
Okay,
was in it.
huh?
Crowbar, the big white dude.
Oh shit, I didn't know he was in it. Uh, from WCW.
Was he a WCW guy? I remember he
Nah,
was in the Royal Rumble when the nation when Steve Austin won the Rumble.
I had to look into it, but they had more Hispanic people in there than they had American Negroes, because the only person that was American Negro was Farouk, and then they had uh, Charles Wright, the Godfather, whatever you want to call him. They had him in there as on the wrestling tip, and then D'Lo Brown was always an extra, but eventually he made it to wrestling and shit.
But
Okay.
didn't that eventually turn into like 6 or 7 different race factions? Like you had the Godwins with their Confederate flags and shit. You had the
Yeah.
O'Keefers.
Oh, we got to get back into that. Let me go through and watch that period. Give me. I'll tell you what. Like I said, I got 11 days off coming up. So I will get into that time frame. Bookmark that and put it in a message and remind me.
I
And
mean,
then
yeah, it was like the full blooded Italians. Uh, it was a it was a couple different like
with the
race groups
with
within the
the with the
WWE.
Italian dude, what the fuck is his name? Tracy Smothers. Who the fuck was his name in there? He had an Italian name.
Nunzio, he
No,
just
no, no,
came back the other
no,
week.
no, 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 no. I'm thinking, no, no, no. I'm
Big
thinking about,
Big Guido,
no,
not
no,
that
no,
not that dude.
no, no. In the WWF, it was an Italian dude that Tracy Smothers played. I ain't got time to look it up right now. I'm gonna go back listen to this shit, and I'll be able to get it by then. Floyd. Damn, look that up right quick. Tracy Smothers, Floyd something. Um, but you're right, they was playing around with different factions of race at that time, even with the Wild Samoans and shit. And it was all quick time shit, and nothing really got over like the Nation of Domination.
But then once The Rock got there, all that shit went out the window. Everybody could talk about the nation domination, but the nation didn't necessarily have success. And The Rock put a different spotlight on it, and I get it. They couldn't keep going off being militant like that. But you know, The Rock just completely diluted the nation. Once The Rock got there, don't no nigga talk and say, "Hey, The Rock says this," and The Rock says, "Oh, no nigga talk like that." And The Rock took that element
I,
and
I didn't I didn't know The Rock was black when I was a kid. For real.
well, I thought that he was. I thought that for a while, The Rock was the first dark skinned person. I didn't look at. First of all, I wasn't watching WCW like that, but I didn't look at Booker T as a world champion and all this shit at that time that I did start watching it. You know what I'm saying? So The Rock was the first, in my eyes at that time, black man that I seen and have that type of success and be that fucking great and to even match Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I'm saying? I hated to see The Rock lose those matches and always get his ass beat by Stone Cold. Always. But you one of the first people I heard that did not view The Rock as black in real time at that time.
But mind you, I was like a a, a baby, so
Well,
I
yeah. How
did.
old is you?
I was shit. I'm 28 in February, so I was.
Oh shit. Yeah, yeah. You wasn't even with The Rock in real time. Um, Listen, I'm 36, so don't come up here making me feel old and shit. But you ain't had to say that bullshit, man. you 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 started watching when it was well established that The Rock wasn't black. Nigga, we had to find that shit out and be devastated for a little bit. Like, but no, I did always look at The Rock as a black man because he was the only melanated person we seen. And he was even out with the tethers and shit, Busta Rhymes, and I, um, that's crazy to even think that now. But
I mean, he was always just tan to me, and I never seen like a Negro with their hair like that.
that did it for me. The hair, especially when it, really got, especially and niggas didn't wear. Niggas had the sideburns, but the rocks was different. You know what I'm saying?
He really looked like Elvis.
He looked like Elvis. Yeah, yeah. You wrestling with racism. Yeah, he looked like Elvis. Um, that's crazy. Yeah. And he acted like him too. Yeah, The Rock didn't act black. No black person talking third person. I think they tried to say that David Ruffin did, but that was it. Um, with me thinking that The Rock was black, I didn't think that The Rock acted black. The Rock did act different, but he appealed to us as if he was us, though. You know what I'm saying? He put the veil over her head for a minute. So you about to be 28. When did you start watching?
I mean, I was a baby watching wrestling. Like I remember like having like my first birthdays was like wrestling cakes with uh the guys, the posters and shit. I was all about wrestling.
Well,
So
you and Mike, who probably fucking fell asleep. Mike, is you available? All right, you and Mike. All right, here's the thing. Me and Chad, same age, and we've been watching around the same time. You and Mike about the same age. I think he just turned 29, and he been watching since '99, and so he was pretty much a baby too. Started pretty much early too. So y'all got the same experience on at least starting at the same time. I would say I don't know how your history is compared to his history. On it, I know you got a good knowledge, a decent knowledge on history, '80s, early '90s and shit. Um, so y'all could try to figure that out about the Rock and shit. But at the same time, The Rock is not us. The Rock is not an American Negro. And the WWE, unfortunately, and the WWE has been operating independently since 1963. So, along with The Rock not winning I'm sorry, along with The Rock not being an American Negro, um, what the fuck is his name? Kofi Kingston was the next one, and he's Ghanaian. And God, Bobby Lashley was the next one. And he's a Hispanic, and then Big E was the next one, and he's a Jamaican and Monstarian. None of them ever got the title again. The Rock had 7 short championship reigns in his heyday. Short. Um, and these other people, black people, are supposed black Americans, American Negroes, foundational black Americans are supposed to take their success and hang on to that for a lifetime. Where you at on that? Do you like these other melanated people representing you because they're melanated?
I think that's unacceptable
Why?
because that's not even honest
I'm being rhetorical
representation.
just for programming sake. I just gotta
We
ask you.
are. That's disingenuous. They not being honest. Uh, it's farcical when you say, well, this is a representation of Black Americans. Here is this foreigner who happens to be melanated. That's that's just fraudulent.
That's why I ask people like, how are y'all defining black? Yeah, how are y'all defining black? Like,
Because we're
because
talking about like it's the same thing with like the Green Lantern shit, or with these British African actors coming to America and getting American playing like Martin Luther King and Harriet Tubman. Like, why aren't those opportunities going to American Negroes? And then you look at you look at white supremacy and how it operates. White supremacy will use these other groups as a fifth column to undermine the American Negroes.
uh-huh. So, I'm trying to find this really quickly. Um, I'm trying. I'm trying to find this real quick. Hold on. I'll be skipping shit. So you know, all black people are the same, right? Like you identify with a Nigerian, right?
In what way? Like, I like Akon
Um,
music. Ain't he from Nigeria?
who?
Akon, ain't he from Nigeria?
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, I think so. He was one of them countries.
I like his music. I'm sure some Nigerian.
What about their food?
So,
Do
so,
you like eat fufu and
hell
goddamn
no. I
stew
eat
meat
with
and
utensils,
bush
man.
meat? Huh?
I don't eat with my hands, bro. I eat with utensils.
Know what I'm saying? Like, what if you on the go and they ain't no like they didn't put no utensil in the bag or something? You driving and shit.
And they all be reaching in the same dish.
I see. I ain't about to put them out there like that. Hold on one second. Okay, so now I'm about to put this up in the jumbotron, right? Um, and I don't know how much African culture you know, and I don't know how much Caribbean culture you know, right? And we speak in identification, right? Do you identify with the Jamaican? I know you listen to more Bob Marley music, than you would like to, but um, like, do you eat fucking? Do you grill your pineapples and shit?
Nah, bro. I mean, I watched Shadows a couple times, but
Man, that movie was the shit.
no.
That's one of my favorites. Uh, do you know any? If you look in the jumbotron, do you know any Africans that dress like this? You see them busted ass horses. You see the thread. If you look in the second picture, you see how they busted through the sole, the top of the soles of the shoes. You see the sunglasses and shit, the cheap ass sunglasses, the dollar store sunglasses, and then the last picture, them shoes look like it's propped up like they remember Wayne had um
Hey, monkeys, how are you?
hey, how are you, Hunky? Who are you?
I'm just on a meal ticket. I'm a monkey.
Okay, what you want, Monkey?
Just wanted to make fun of you, monkeys.
Sure, bring it on.
Hey, are you standing on business at the corner store?
Uh, I'm in my bed right now, getting ready to lay it down.
Were you at the store today?
I went to
Black
go
people
pick up
always
a
come
few
from the damn
items.
store.
So speak one time at a time.
I went to pick up a few items at the store today.
What'd you pick up?
It's none of your business.
Business or business?
It's none of your
I
business.
asked you. I asked you what you got at the store.
Uh, is there anything that you want in particular? 'Cause
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. You ain't never gonna get reparation. You heard? You better.
okay, is there anything else, sir?
You ain't
Ma'am,
never
whatever
gonna
you
get it.
identify as?
You don't deserve reparation. What happened in 1864 was deserved.
What happened in 1864?
1864 and every year prior. You ain't never gonna get reparation.
What happened in
You
1864?
ain't never gonna get it. You know what happened.
Can you spell reparations, you stupid cracker motherfucker?
No, don't be
You,
disrespectful to the
you
stupid
saw
cracker
you saw what
motherfucker.
happened. We were lashing you people. You ain't never gonna get it.
So, I don't know what to call you. Quintavion.
No, call me
Um,
meal ticket.
all right. So when you look in the jumbotron, when you look in the jumbotron, do you see these shoes that this guy got
Yeah, he got on
on?
some white ones.
They white to you?
No, no, that's just what you people call it. You gotta say he got on white ones.
So, do you like those shoes?
Do you?
Uh, Not in those condition, but I think I could wear some. Would you wear those shoes in those conditions?
I ain't wear ones.
Okay. All right. Anything else before I let you go?
Well, why can't I be up here? Cause I ain't with reparation.
No, because I was about to close up my shop anyway.
Oh, you
We
about to
came
go
too late.
make you a meal, oxtail and rice?
I'm about to make some sleep. I don't eat after 6 p.m.
You love chicken. You love chicken.
I do.
Kind of chicken you like?
All right. Uh, so anyway, so what I'm saying though is, what was I saying before this motherfucker got up there? Oh, okay. So what I'm saying though is, um, they want to sit up here and say all black people the same, and you get people like peckerTom Ron that say black people the same, right? Um, I don't know any African people that wear forces just busted up like that. Like, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? I know that a lot of people have certain views on other ethnic groups, but I don't see Africans or Caribbean people wearing busted up forces like that. I only see bum ass American Negroes like peckerTom Ron doing forces like that. Um, do you think that we are the same in that instance, owner?
No, there's some divergence, definitely.
Yeah. So, why don't you need to get your shit together? Um, on that end. You want to be like other black people, why don't you start wearing the fucking dashiki? Why don't you wear kufi? Um, if you the same as white man, then there's no point. If you're not gonna be productive in the conversation, then you will be removed immediately. So I suggest that you get productive. Um,
I,
if you're
I
gonna
want to
call me a
remove this white
nigger,
motherfucker right now, man.
no, I'm just saying, I want to see if he gonna call me a nigger at least. Call me a nigger and you could jump off stage afterwards, or just be productive. So, oh, he revoked his he revoked wanting to speak. I'm gonna send you a mic. You can come up if you're gonna be productive. Then we can have this conversation. If not, then you'll be dropped back down. Oh, he left. All right,
Hey, Fo, let me ask you something.
shoot.
You want reparation?
Okay,
Hey, and let me tell you.
it's too late to be, you know, going through white ignorance. He should have got at me at 4 p.m. when I had that energy. Um, so I'm about to get ready to wrap it up. It's 1 o'clock. Uh, I gotta get up in 2 hours, but um, we're gonna continue this on Thursday. We're gonna let the week roll out, see what it's gonna be on Monday. It's some type of strategy that has to be developed because we're getting into a new year. Like I said, violence generally um, make the changes that's necessary. Isaac, I don't know you. If you got anything you want to speak on anything, you more than welcome. If not, I'm about to get ready to close up. Um, but there is only one way to liberation, freedom. Obviously, on the other end, if these wrestlers are not going to stand up and say anything, express their true feelings, it'll be pointless a year from now. It'll be pointless 2 years from now. They have to say something now while they have to fan back. Other than that, they some suckers. I don't think that running the AEW is gonna solve their problem because they're gonna end up in the same position. I don't think that running the New Japan, running anywhere is going to solve anyone's position problem. Um, you know, Caribbean people, they run. They don't get nowhere with that shit. Matter of fact, they may get shipped back. Um, Same thing with Africans and all the other different shit. They run and they may get shipped back. Um, Running doesn't do anything. The Temptation said running away show ain't gonna help you. And I don't need to get into the other one. That wasn't even a part of the song. But anyway, fuck it. It ain't gonna help you. Negro, owner, anything else you wanna add?
No. That was yeah. It was shit, man.
Yeah, you
I'm
tired
tapped.
too. We all there. Don't worry about it. So I'm gonna get ready to cut it from here. Like I said, I'll be back up Thursday. We're gonna let the week roll out the way that it is. We're gonna let all this shit settle in. Thursday we'll have a better strategy for certain things moving forward because this cannot continue. And it is a major problem at the fact that they are rubbing it in our face. They're playing in our face. Triple H told you that he doesn't see color, and he's tripled down on it. Even at the expense of having a terrible show. Saturday night's main event was a terrible show. You got white folk complaining about how terrible it was. Um, and if you had have added the New Day to it, if you had have added um, Carmelo Hayes and what happened with Braun Strowman to it, if you had have added Bianca Belair to it, if you had have added the aspect of Jade Cargill to it, if you had have possibly had Naomi be in the finals, win or lose, for the United States Championship or even BFAB, it would have added some type of flavor to it. And the WWE was willing to have such a bland show in order to not feature American Negroes in something that they could call historic. That says a lot about white folk. That says a lot about the system of white supremacy via anti-blackness. And some lives have to be taken as a result. So with that being said, um, American Negroes, subscribe to Wrestling with Racism on YouTube, whether you are a wrestling fan or not. And be sure to check out the Message to the Grassroots series, which is listed in the playlist as we prepare for the new project 2025. When you are frightened and confused, which way will you choose? And all of that will be laid out as we prepare for the speech America Prevents. All of that will be laid out soon enough for you. In the meantime, protect yourself as an individual and be sure to protect one another as family. As our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, we are one. And that's the way it is.
Dick Gregory's autobiography, Nigger, was first published in October 1964. The process of writing Nigger started with an unlikely meeting between an extraordinary young black comedian, Dick Gregory, and a young, talented New York Times sports writer named Robert Lipsyte. Book publisher E.P. Dutton had sent a few collaborators to meet with Dick, and none of them clicked. But Robert's energy was different. It wasn't immediately harmonious, but the underpinnings of a lifelong friendship was taking root. The project was to begin just a few weeks after the historic March on Washington. However, the soaring good energy from the march was suddenly snatched away by a cowardly act of terrorism. September 15th, 1963, the day of the horrific Birmingham, Alabama, 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. This savage, homegrown terrorist attack, carried out by 4 known Klansmen and segregationists, snuffed out the lights and the lives of 4 innocent little black girls. There is an African tradition that if you continue to speak someone's name, they are never truly dead. To this day, nearly 57 years later, we defy racial hatred by continuing to say the names of these 4 innocent children: Addie Mae Collins, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, and Carol Denise McNair, and thus keep their memory and spirit alive. The energy was dark and Dick's anger was palpable. Unfortunately for Robert, he was scheduled to begin with Dick immediately following this attack. On this day, Dick was too deeply disturbed by these hate-inspired murders. He recounted his outrage, his anger, and his heartbreak. Robert's encounter with Dick on that pivotal day did not seal the collaboration. The wounds were far too raw for an instant bond. It was only weeks later when Robert informed Dick that he was going to leave and abandon the project. He'd grown weary from the intensity of Dick's unrelenting fire. It was then that Dick smiled and said, "Now we're ready to begin." The book was born as Robert traveled with Dick, notebook and tape recorder in hand. For several months following the bombing, much of the writing and recording took place in hotel rooms, late at night, after the evening show or protest rallies had ended. Dick said he initially wrote the book for white people to learn about his experience, what racial and economic exclusion really looked like in the life of someone they'd started to embrace. Black Americans didn't need to know about his youthful challenges, Dick reflected, because they'd lived them too. And yet, over the decades, Dick's original intention expanded far beyond what he had ever imagined. The life of Richard Claxton Gregory began on October 12, 1932, in abject poverty, during the peak of the Great Depression. Born and raised in a deeply segregated, Jim Crow-dominated St. Louis, Dick had a profoundly traumatic childhood, rooted in the relentless racism and unchecked violence of the era. At 14, Dick lost many of his front teeth from a swift kick preceded by, "Nigger, get your hands off that white woman." It hadn't mattered that he was simply shining her shoes. Most never knew that Dick Gregory's megawatt smile was rooted in such pain and suffering. Dick came of age in the two Americas, the America for the haves and the America for the have-nots. The duality of how America treated its people was the true catalyst for his lifelong activism. Dick instinctively knew that no person should be judged simply by the color of their skin. He knew that slave traders weren't just snatching workers. They were snatching kings, queens, doctors, healers, village leaders, and intellectuals. As he listened to black folks trace the journey of their ancestors from slaves to sharecroppers to supposedly free people existing in a rigidly segregated world, he struggled in a reality dominated by hate-fueled violence and hate speech. None more hateful and powerful than the word nigger. Nigger was a word that had no equivalent. It was the Goliath of hate speech, and Dick Gregory was hell-bent on being the David that took it down. Dick realized words have power based on intent, effect, and reaction. He decided to use the word often to deconstruct it, allowing its increased frequency to diminish its intensity. Combining his natural empathy with an intuitive understanding of the power of words set Dick on an irreversible course, a sustained campaign to defang the word nigger. While busting the glass ceiling of flat-footed, intellectual black comedians performing at white clubs, racism and ugliness raised its evil head. A white heckler yelled, "Get off the stage, nigger," to which Dick replied, "Thank you. I have a contract with the club tonight that states every time that word is said, I get another $50. So please, everyone, repeat after me. Nigger, nigger, nigger." His ability to masterfully use comedy to soften his white audience's defenses, then drop a knowledge bomb on them was unprecedented. Wit and humor can sometimes disarm the nastiest of intentions. Dick always said, if you want to hide something from an ignorant person, put it in a book. So he decided to put ignorance to the test, and he made an executive decision. Nigger will be the title of his new book. He named the book Nigger not to be provocative, but as an act of defiance. His decision was purposeful and deliberate. He knew his boldness would negatively impact sales and limit the marketability of his book, but he refused to let money direct his decision. He had in his hand the proverbial brick being used to beat black folks down, and he decided to reclaim ownership of that brick. Although he was uncertain how this brick would go on to be used, he was confident that if he seized it, white folks would lose their monopoly on it. Dick utilized the word nigger as a tool of subversive liberation. he intentionally had fun with it and made fun of it as he worked the book's title into his shows and lectures. He'd tell jokes about nigger relentlessly, slowly but surely chipping away at the word's sting and its bite. Today we almost need to deconstruct the title and reconstruct it for a 21st century audience to fully comprehend its meaning. The word nigger has changed dramatically since 1964, which constitutes a bona fide success because no one stops saying a word because they're told not to say it. Words only change when the effect or definition changes. For the Gregory family, we routinely had to throw folks a lifeline as they started to stutter and struggle while mentioning that they'd read our father's autobiography. What's the name? Your dad's book. They'd hesitate while pretending to be engaged in deep thought to recall the title. Today, some 5 decades later, the title nigger remains provocative, but its usage is no longer as defiant. Today, the use of the word nigger has grown exceptionally complicated and tricky to navigate. Originally in 1964, the title didn't sit well with folks. In 2020, this autobiography's name still raises eyebrows and elicits discomfort among white and black folks alike. Nevertheless, my father's iconic autobiography is so much more than its controversial name. With well over 1 million copies sold and a consecutive 55 years on bookstands, its collective message is just as relevant today as it was yesterday. As we prepared for this audiobook edition, we decided to remain true to our father's intention. Anyone who knew Dick Gregory knows how much he hated it when folks would say the N-word instead of nigger. This unwillingness to face reality annoyed him. Our father would say, "No one who's ever been raped says they were R-worded. Truth loses its impact with nicknames." Thus we chose not to diminish this title's original intent. We decided instead to refresh the original cover. In this digital era, images define reality. So we want my father's autobiography to have the strong impact that he originally intended. We are also mindful and permissive for slight altering on certain digital platforms to conform to platform guidelines and policies. Racism, no matter who it targets, is repulsive and corrosive, and today it continues to adversely impact our great nation's potential and global standing. Racism remains a toxic stain that, when present, can turn the American dream into an American nightmare. America will continue to have a race problem until it acknowledges and atones for its most appalling atrocities. Whether we're debating over reparations or immigrant children in cages, this autobiography is a reminder that the human spirit can transcend collective programming and prejudice. This autobiography continues to school our nation by bringing power to the people and speaking up for all Americans. Thank you for embracing the legacy and understanding context and cultural lenses are profoundly important. Thank you for supporting our mission as we continue the necessary work of protecting the weakest amongst us, feeding the hungry, protecting the innocent, and advocating for the marginalized. As we continue to lead, serve, and love on this fight for civil and human rights, we say stand up and make a difference. Please listen and enjoy. Be inspired and uplifted by this great American story. As a nation, we are better than what the darkest parts of our history would indicate. We are stronger due to our diversity, and with great strength comes great responsibility. It is our duty to see a way forward, where responsible minds and leaders show the strength, sacrifice, and courage that our father did. I am proud and excited to introduce or reintroduce this iconic and painfully relevant autobiography. As Audible makes Negra available for the first time as an audiobook, please listen, share, and re-listen to this masterpiece. Discuss it with your family and friends. This story of perseverance, survival against all the odds, and a lifelong commitment to leveling all playing fields, even those you have no desire to play on, is simultaneously heartbreaking, heartwarming, and ultimately triumphant. It's very simple, as Dick would say. The world needs more love and less hate than ever before. On September 19th, 2017, the world lost an amazing and courageous man. Our family also lost its nucleus and patriarch. On behalf of my mother, Lillian, and my 9 siblings, Michelle, Lynn, Satori, Paula, Zenobia, Gregory, Miss, Ayana, and Johanse, we say thank you. We thank you for your willingness to fan the flame, and we encourage you to expand this autobiography's intergenerational appeal among baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, and Gen Z with this new Audible release. Nothing brought a bigger smile to Dick Gregory's face than an audience who possessed the willingness to hear and the fortitude